All right, folks, welcome back. We have an interview that a member of our team went out and did with Austin Peterson. And that is our producer, Ben, here, got together with Austin to talk about election integrity. And so we wanted to share that with you now. This is an exclusive for Idaho Signal. I mean, it's not exclusive. I mean, Austin Peterson has his own show, but this is an exclusive sit down with Idaho Signal. So let's roll that.
We're obviously in a very volatile and important election year, and one question that always comes up is the issue of election integrity. Do you have any thoughts on it coming into a presidential election that many are calling the most important in history?
Brother, if I had the solutions to those problems or the answers to those questions, I would be the most highly paid consultant in the United States. I would be like, Steve Bannon would have nothing on me, brother. I would be like, they put me right next to the king. Um, I'll say this in regards to election integrity, there's a fascinating phenomenon that you will find about election integrity. I don't know if you know your Secretary of State. I know my Secretary of State. He's Jay Ashcroft. And when I've interviewed him several times, and whenever I ask him about election integrity, he says, "You're right. It's a big issue. It's a big problem. It's something we've got to get a handle on. We've got to get our elections secure." Now, he'll say that when I ask him about election integrity in general. But when I say, "Now, Mr. Attorney General, you tell me about election integrity here in the state of Missouri. Are our elections in the state of Missouri secure?" "Oh, yeah, they're totally secure." "Yeah, absolutely." Because, of course, he's in charge of them. He's not going to say, I'll bet you that if you polled all 50 attorney generals in this country and asked them how safe and what's the integrity of the elections in the state of Arizona or Missouri or where Idaho, they'd probably all say, probably 100% of those polled would say, our elections are entirely secure, right? And it's a challenge because we have federal voting rights acts and things that there are certain rules and regulations that come down from the federal government. All 50 states have separate rules, and that we want that. We don't want to have the federal government dictating to each state how they manage and control their elections, right? The beauty of the federalist system is to have all 50 states managing their own. So if you're really concerned about something like election integrity, the real uphill battle is going to be in your own state. And to ask yourself, do you trust your own attorney general, right? Is the attorney general of Idaho on the up and up, right? Or not attorney general, yeah, Secretary of State, excuse me. Well, attorney general is important too, but is your Secretary of State on the up and up? And if you think they're not, you're going to have to work to get yourself a good Secretary of State who will manage your elections effectively. And then, of course, I know a lot of people who are concerned about election integrity, but they don't show up to manage the polls, right? The only people I see to show up to run the polls are okay boomers and geriatrics to the max. If you want to see what election integrity is really about, you need to be involved in your local voting. You need to volunteer for your local polling locations.
You got to get involved, folks. We got to get involved. And as you saw, there's plenty of opportunity to get involved, especially with the first event coming up, the March 2nd caucus that we had Mr. Brent Reagan on earlier today talking about. You really need to get involved. And I know if you're watching this show, and if maybe if somebody shared this show, you're watching it for the first time, we are all about action. We're all about getting out there and making sure you are involved in any sense of the word. I can't believe how many folks we've had on the show that have been able to tell you how to get involved with simply door knocking. We had Dalton Traylor on yesterday talking about door knocking. Go volunteer to be a poll worker. Go volunteer at your local central committee. We had a central committeeman on a couple of weeks ago talking about how to get involved in your local community. And of course, just run. I mean, the folks that we've had on this program who are sitting in the legislature right now, they were citizens just like you and me. And a lot of them are not career politicians. You can't really be a career politician if you're in the state legislature because you're only there for 3 months and you get paid very little for that time to make a living off of it for the rest of the year. So everybody there is citizen legislators, and that's what we need. And you need to get involved. And if you don't want to run for something, then get behind somebody. If you've got a lot of money and you want to donate, then donate. So it's really important to keep paying attention to that stuff.